guys, welcome back to the 10th episode of Two Friendless Friends. And before we start, just as usual, let's get some life updates. So Flora, what's been happening in the past week?
Hi. So, you know what? It's been pretty good, except for yesterday and today. It's been very, very tragic. So I went to work and that was not a fun experience at all because my boss, owner of the store, he's just like straight up rude and he just like makes fun of me and it's not very fun to work there. So that's sad. But I had white party yesterday, which honestly, I miss parties a lot.
You met one of my friends too. She listens to this podcast.
Oh yeah, hi Amy.
She told me she listens to it religiously. Hi Amy, I love you.
I have something to confess since we're on the topic of Amy. So I have a friend called Rachel, and I don't know. Okay, so I have a problem with recognizing faces, as you know. So I was on the dance floor and I was in a group and I was like, oh look, there's Rachel, I'm gonna join into this group. So we all like start dancing and there's a group of guys and she's kind of like with this other guy, like the guy's like holding her and there's like a bunch of people in this group. And then she turns to me later and then she's like, oh my god, you're Flora, right? I'm Amy. This entire time I thought she was Rachel, which is the only reason why I was in that group to begin with. I'm so sorry, Amy. And then I realized like I didn't even know anyone here, but it's fine because it's a party and yeah. But overall, yeah. I would recommend white party. It's a bit exy, but
how much was it?
Well, I got it for 45, but the thing is, like, I thought it would be 100, so when I saw it was 45, I was like, you know what, not bad. 35 maybe, I can't remember. Either way, though, it was pretty fun and just like a fun experience, and I would do it again. Yeah. How about you, Kelly?
Well, like, personally, parties aren't my thing, like, in terms of just with, like, really, really big parties like white party. I'm a slightly introverted extrovert.
I think that's called like ambivert, or I might be wrong.
Know. Like everyone's somewhere, like no one's like extremely extroverted or introverted. Like there's always some kind of balance between the two. It's just which one's more. And I'm like closer to the middle, right? So I don't do well in kind of really, really tight crowds where like I'm meant to kind of socialize with like random people. Like I prefer a party that has kind of like some sort of theme in terms of the people that are going. Like I kind of know them or mutuals or stuff. Yeah. So I'm just not that good with like complete
Honestly,
strangers.
I wasn't really feeling it to begin with. Like a few hours before it started, I wasn't really in the social mood and I didn't feel like meeting people. But then I got there and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to actually like talk to people and meet them. And you know who I saw right behind me? Like when I arrived, why couldn't you arrive when we left? Because you just like ruined the mood. So this is my shout out to, I won't say his name, not that anyone actually knows him, I think.
And he doesn't not listen. Like he listens to this anyway, right?
His bestie was subscribed, so not that he would also listen. Anyway, so let's move on to the questions. Okay.
Flora, you have something to confess, right?
Oh.
Again.
So wait, why did I say that? Okay, so a few episodes ago when we were doing the Q&A, Kelly asked the question whether I love her or not, and I said no. Now, after a few weeks, I've realized that maybe I'm going to retract my answer because maybe that's not true. Why did I text you that again? I forgot why.
I don't know. It was like, I don't know what happened, but you just texted me that and I was like,
no,
what
there
the
was
heck is
actually a
happening?
reason why I texted that. I can't remember why.
I think you explained it afterwards, but I don't remember like the messages after. I just
Either
remember
way, so
that
basically
message.
I texted Kelly and I was like, hey, gonna let you know that I really appreciate you and love you as a friend. And then she replied saying, you better tell the podcast this because that's not what you said in the Q&A.
You can't lie to the listeners.
Maybe I wasn't
fam.
lying.
You can't. Even though there's only like 100 of them or some less than 100, that's still a
We
significant
don't have
number.
100 subscribers. Oh, listeners.
I know, like it's under 100, but you can't lie no
Okay,
matter how
true,
many people
true.
it is.
Yep. Now let's get on to the questions that we always do at the beginning of the episode.
That just sounded like a drama. Like you going like, oh, I don't like you, and then like a few episodes later the guy's like,
You know what
oh,
that
wait,
sounds
I
like?
you.
That sounds like my life. the ever changing.
It's like a very
emotions.
typical drama thing.
Okay, so let's go on to the questions that we always start with. And today I have made up my own question because I don't like those questions anymore that I'm searching online. So my question is, I don't know if we actually gone through this before, but what are your top 3 things that you want to achieve this year?
This year, I think we went through a similar question that was like, in your lifetime, what's the one thing that you really want to be able to do? And this is like a twist.
Top
this
3.
year, well, like, okay, 2021. Well, I think I already achieved one of the things I wanted.
Oh, what's that?
Because I really wanted to actually start this podcast, like actually get episodes out, because I think before we actually like released, it still didn't feel official, although we did some recordings already. It just didn't feel like I have a podcast out. And people were like asking me, oh, when is it coming out? And I feel like those people probably aren't listening anymore because it took too long for us to get it out. But yeah, this was one of my goals, like to start it before the end of uni. And we did it.
I was looking through my diary because I write a diary and a recount of everything that happens during, like, it's like a daily recount. And I was reading through it this morning, and it's just pretty cool how on the very first day of the year, I wrote about how we set up the accounts, and it's just cool to compare where we are now compared to like where we were back then, because we didn't even have episodes out at that time.
And now this is our 10th episode. And
yay.
like, I think I've been secretly kind of celebrating milestones to myself when I check like analytics. It comes up the first thing when I go to upload a new episode, and like I see that the number has like jumped up again, and it's like, it's weird because just seeing a number, like let's say just a random number, like 30 people listening, you don't feel like it's that much, right? Because like we're so used to seeing people with like millions of views. But if you imagine like 30 people in a room listening to you talk about the stupidest things that you've done with your life, that's pretty amazing.
That's exactly a viral TikTok.
Yes, I know.
Audio.
And yeah.
Wait, how do you know?
Because I didn't tell you. I have a TikTok account now. But I don't...
You did?
I don't check it. I don't go on it.
Oh my god. Are you friends with Derek on there? Because he has sent me
No,
over 30...
I'm not following any of our friends.
Oh. He sent me over 30 TikToks, and I have not looked at them. And now it's been way too long that I can't just go back and look at all of them. And I hate messaging apps where they don't let you do that swipe to reply thing. especially on TikTok, because people normally send more than one TikTok, and I can't. And then in my reply, I have to describe which TikTok I'm talking about, and it's just annoying.
I don't socialize with people on TikTok. I mostly got TikTok because one creator that I follow started making TikToks and I liked them. I found them on like Instagram Reels, but I realized like, oh, she posts them on TikTok first, and like a long time later she posts on Instagram. So I decided to just get it and keep up with that, but otherwise I don't really use it.
Oh, okay. It drains my battery.
Back to the question we said. Well, the first one was podcast.
Oh yeah. So that's your first one?
The second one was, I'm actually not 100% sure about this one because I'm still kind of personally weighing up the pros and cons, but I wanted to do my own YouTube channel.
You should do it.
Because, a lot of people don't know this because I didn't tell anyone. I think I told you and one of my other friends, but at the end of year 12 and like basically before I got into uni, I wanted to have a YouTube channel to document my uni life. But the pandemic happened and I was like, I'm just stuck at home watching lectures. There's nothing fun about this.
Okay. As the OG vlogger, you don't need to have interesting things to make a vlog. You just talk to yourself and the camera and it's good enough.
And it's also like, my family still doesn't know about this podcast. And I'm really scared for them to know at all.
Why is that?
It's just, my family is very into the traditional career path.
But this is a side project.
Yeah, like, this podcast is just something I use to kind of tell my stories to the world without having to just tell one specific person. Like, just putting myself out there, and also it's just for my own enjoyment in a sense, and I get to talk to you for an hour every week. That's cute. For no real reason.
Excuse me.
Like, we always do this, but it just feels different when we do it for a podcast.
So it was podcast and then YouTube channel, which I encourage you to do. I think you should do it.
I'm still debating about it.
What's your pros and cons?
But yeah, it's just, pros are like, it's like a thing for me and just for me in a sense. Like, this podcast is kind of our thing.
Oh, okay, I get it.
It's become kind of the way that people define our friendship as well. Because it's like, everyone that is friends with me and is listening to this podcast knows you because of this podcast. And everyone that's friends with you and is listening to this podcast knows me because of it. I think that's kind of cool, though. It's very cool, but I just don't think it's a personal project kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I get what you mean.
And I just wanted to do something for myself while I still have time, in a sense. And I think it's just like, the goal of it was to document university life, and I think it would be nice to just look back on it, like, even just at graduation, like, these are all the memories I made.
That would be so
cute. At the same time, I'm like, do I really want to put this out publicly?
You could just put it out and then not promote it, and just so that it doesn't get as much traffic, which is not really the best idea, but
yeah. So like, I don't know, I'll see. I'll let people know if I end up doing it. I don't know, I'll see. If anyone wants to put their opinion in my mind, please message me.
Just type, because
I don't know what I'm doing.
Kelly, you have to start your YouTube channel. I'd watch it.
Hey, Flores, don't put ideas in people's minds. They need to express
You just
their
told
own
them
opinion.
to do that. Excuse me?
I said express your opinion.
Oh, sorry.
Not
Okay.
You should tell me to do it.
You know what? My bad. I take that back. So for
third thing, I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
Probably get a kind of slightly related job to my actual degree outside of just tutoring little
And you want to go into
kids.
commerce, right?
Yeah, I want to do something within commerce because honestly, computer science, other than applying to tutor at uni, I feel like I personally don't have the skills to work in the field yet. So I'll just hold back on that until probably end of third year or something.
Right. You don't have to figure it out now anyway, but it's a good thing to maybe just think about. So for my ones, I put first thing to just get mentally better, because so the diary that I have, right? I record down the days that I'm not feeling the best, pretty sad days.
Like a mood tracker?
Yeah, basically. But more like happy and sad mood. Or not even like happy and sad, more like sad and normal. Because I think people say that they're happy when they're feeling okay. And most times you're just feeling fine and okay.
Like, I think happy is just defined as not sad.
So my tracker is just not sad and sad then.
That sounds really sad.
I don't even know who watches this. It's like getting so personal. Basically though, it probably is better than last year though, I have to say. But because I'm not exactly in the thing that happened, whereas right now I'm dealing with the healing process, right? So
I definitely feel like your emotional state has improved
since when?
a lot. Huh?
Since you met me?
Yeah.
That's a lot to say. I don't think
I mean, you
so.
can't really say much about my emotional state because I don't really show it.
But I don't think my one has changed that much.
I definitely feel like you have. Like, or maybe it's just the types of conversations we have changed.
Maybe we need to talk about this later. But basically, so I record it in my diary. And so yesterday, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, yesterday and today have been quite sad and tragic. Mostly because of the stuff that my boss said to me, because of the place that I work at. And it just like triggered a lot of emotions that I didn't want. And then it led to sad days, sad hours, back to being sad. This is way too like personal, and people are going to think that I'm just a sad person now. But
you're not a sad person.
I swear.
Okay, then what's your second goal?
Okay, so it kind of relates to that in a way, but it's like get a better job. Or like intern, I think. Second years it's common, right?
Within commerce, I think it's bigger. Some other degrees not as big in terms of getting an internship in second year. It depends how kind of specialized you need to be for that career.
I don't think marketing needs that much skill, to be honest.
Yeah, so certain degrees will have more availabilities earlier for internships, or just like a small role that is slightly related that could be like a good experience.
Yeah, that's why I want to get a job that's related somewhat to my degree, which is marketing. Or I want to do like event management, because I think that would be really fun and I think I'd enjoy that.
Event management is so fun.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do it on a serious level, not uni level.
Yeah, I do too.
But it's also like not related to my degrees at all.
Change to marketing.
No! I am sticking with computer science and information systems.
Okay, and then my third thing is to have abs by the end of the year, which I don't know if it's working abs. Because I don't change my diet, and I know that's very important to get abs because you need to lose the fat.
Yeah.
The body fat. It's not all about doing ab exercises, but I don't change my diet because I'm just not bothered to.
Changing diet is actually something that's really hard to do. I think I've personally noticed that my diet changed without me even trying.
I have a pretty bad eating schedule though, or just eating thing in general.
I screwed up my eating habits because now, so what happens is if I don't eat breakfast, I won't get hungry until like 4 p.m. Like considering that if I wake up at 7, I don't eat anything, I don't get hungry until 4 p.m.
Oh, okay. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Because like I notice this more because I just normally just eat breakfast because my mum prepares it for me and leaves it there. And one day, I think it was during O week, I was on store duty for med review and I didn't eat breakfast because I didn't have time. And I was just empty stomach the whole day. We got a free coffee because there was a coupon, and I survived the whole day on that, standing in the sun.
But that might be because you were just busy that day.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that busy, like, because that day was the last day of O week, and so there weren't as many people there. So it was actually a really chill day. I was just standing around.
Yeah, but I think if you were at home just by yourself, then you would have gotten hungry. Would you?
No, because when I've also noticed at home by myself, I just eat for the sake of eating and not because I'm actually genuinely hungry.
Right. Okay.
Because it's like, I just should follow a schedule, but I realize that being at home and also just general lifestyle changing because of the pandemic, I have changed my eating habits a lot.
Yeah, it's quite common.
I snack on fruit way too often in the day.
Is that a bad thing?
I just casually grab the bowl of watermelon and start eating it.
Watermelon's nice. But also, we're almost 30 minutes into the episode and we haven't actually started our topic.
We do this every week.
So maybe we'll figure it out later, but like let's actually get started on the topic, and if we have more to say, we might do a part 2 next week. So let us know. So what's the topic that you have planned for us today, Kelly?
So the topic that I have planned was just talking about time management in general with our lives, because I think time management has become much more relevant in our lives now than it was when we were in high school, since high school was a very set routine, like get up, go to school, and on certain days you might have tutoring or something, but that was kind of the extent of it. Everything had very set times for you, but it's not the same now.
I think that was something that a lot of people experienced too. They said that in uni, I remember a lot of people said that they didn't like that there wasn't a structure or a routine, and that's something that they really missed from high school. And it makes it a lot easier too when you go through the same thing every single day, 5 days a week, and then weekends you kind of just chill. It just makes it a lot easier to navigate time too, because now that I'm in uni, like I sometimes go to uni on Wednesday, sometimes I go on Tuesdays, depending on how I'm feeling. And I lose track of time and the day of the week.
I don't feel that as much as you, maybe because I work Monday to Wednesday and then I go to uni Thursday, and Friday is kind of my free day to study, and then weekends I also study unless I'm going out. But I have realized that like on the days that I have nothing, so Friday to Sunday, I do mix up the days a lot.
But do you think you have bad time management skills though?
Yes. I always end up getting them done in time.
Assignments?
I think this is a habit that's come with me since high school. Like I have the habit of leaving stuff to the last minute, or I start a little bit to make myself feel good, and then I leave the rest.
But to be honest, is that really bad time management skill though?
I mean, technically, I haven't ever been penalized for late submissions, so that's
yeah, because
fine, right?
you know yourself, you know how long it takes you to do an assignment, and you do it when your mind is ready for it.
I definitely feel like the freedom that you talked about that we got in university with our time, I think I have been able to take advantage of that and do things like this podcast, because I couldn't see myself doing something like this when I was in high school. I don't think I would have the time for it in terms of like downtime and alone time so that I could record in peace and quiet. But now I can, because I have this free day in my week where I'm the only person at home and I can record without any distractions.
There's a bit of irony to uni though, because while we feel like we have a lot more time, we also have a lot more work too, but it just feels so crammed up that it feels like we have a lot of time, but at the same time we don't have any time.
Yeah, I think it's because the pace that we move at in uni in terms of work makes it so that the time that we do work, we go through a lot more than we would have in high school, because high school, like, you mess around like 70% of the time. So like right after graduation, when we started uni, and I had friends in the grade below that were looking into uni at that time, and like they were in year 12 getting ready to graduate, and they were asking me about my schedule. And when I told them I only had to go to uni 1 day a week, they thought I was lying. But in reality, it's just about how you timetable your classes so that you make the most of the time that you do spend at uni, especially if you have a lot of travel time.
Yeah, because most people do live quite far from campus, so it's just convenient to place everything on one day, well, at least for me. And even if it's more tiring on that day, I'd rather do that than travel back continuously.
Yeah, and like travel cost as well adds up. But I just definitely feel like, and there's also like good days to choose to put your full day on, because like you shouldn't put on a Monday in case your lecturers haven't done anything yet, and you're literally turning up to a tute with no knowledge at all. And Monday is kind of the worst day to do uni stuff.
Why?
It's just Monday sucks.
Okay then.
I always try to leave Monday empty and Friday empty, so I have a long week, extremely long weekend every week. And I genuinely prefer Wednesdays or Thursdays for my tute days.
I've always just tried to do it between Monday to Wednesday.
I always try to do it between Wednesdays and Thursdays. If I push it into Tuesday, it has to be a course that's not that intense.
But going back to what we were talking about before, like time management, I do think that you're a very organized person though.
Am I?
You don't think so? Especially with the podcast, I think.
Oh yeah, because I'm the one that reminds you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, I definitely do feel like I end up being the person to remind people about stuff. It's mostly because I just remember it rather than me actually knowing when to timetable stuff into my life. I just kind of be like, okay, what do I have to do now? What is left in this week? And I go through that list to see what there is, and if there's anything that I need to remind people about, I will.
I think it's really important, if people want to get better at time management, to have a planner or a diary or a calendar.
Get a diary.
I don't have a diary. But I use a calendar.
I use a planner kind of thing. So I have... Wait, let me grab my planner to explain how I use it. It's very blank. Let's just say I don't write that much in it.
No one can see it though.
I'll describe it.
Okay.
I'm very good at describing things, okay, Flora? So I got this moleskin black one, just a little one. And basically one side has rows with the days of the week, and then the other side is a blank lined page. What I like to do is to whenever I schedule something, I'll write it in to that day. So this week I had Monday I just had work, Tuesday I had work, and I had a tute homework due. I had a call with a friend, and I had to finish and finalize stuff for a group assignment. And then Wednesday I had work, Thursday uni 11 to 4, Friday, which is today, I have this recording and a meeting at 8 p.m. tonight. Saturday I was meant to have society dinner, which I can't go to because of some other thing, and I have work. Sunday is just our episode release. And on the blank page side, I like to write out all the tasks I need to do for the week and just tick them off as I go. And that's just my weekly thing. Every day I write a sticky note or like on a piece of paper on my memo pad or something, the things that I want to get done that day. And I just tick them off as I go.
And you don't think you're organized?
I only started this recently.
I think that's pretty organized though. I don't do that, but because I use Google Calendar
I don't like digital.
Okay, so what benefits do you think a physical one has over digital?
It's just, I haven't found a digital planner that kind of allows me to do the same kind of things. It just doesn't feel the same to me, at least with the ones I've tried. I've even tried a couple paid ones, and like, it doesn't work out. This is just what works for me.
You have the side where you record all the things that you have to do, plans, and then you have your sticky note. And what I used to do is I had my calendar, so I just put in my regular calendar, and then I just go use my sticky notes app. So I had two different things.
I don't know. I feel like I just don't pay attention to like calendars on my laptop or my phone.
They set reminders, which I think is so helpful though.
I just stare at my sticky notes because I always have it on display somewhere, like stuck on my monitor or something.
Oh, okay. That's actually quite good. That's something I should do, but I probably won't. But I also don't have a desk though. I feel like if I had a desk, it would make it easier.
Yeah, it would. Because I think just having it there all the time right in front of you makes it kind of harder for you to ignore it.
Yeah, like having it right there.
Yeah, but
in terms of... Oh, sorry.
I just feel like last year my time management sucked because we were just at home all the time. I stopped using my planner. Like, I literally used my planner for the first few weeks of last year, and then I gave up on it. And I don't know. I just feel like this year... Last year taught me a lot of things in terms of actually getting stuff done. And I just realized not everything has to be as pretty as it is on the internet.
What does that mean?
Because like last year I saw so many people doing bullet journaling in terms of like the very pretty ones and like decorating it and stuff, and I'm like, that's a waste of time, at least to me. I don't see the value in that. I just need a neat way to lay out all my stuff and I call it a day. Because it's not like I'm going to frame up my planner and like put it on the internet or anything. It's just for me to know what I need to do and what I have on this week.
Don't you feel like you're a lot more in control when you have the planner versus when you didn't?
Well, like, I didn't use a planner for most of my life until this year. But I feel like it just depends on your own workload and your life. This year, I feel like there's a lot more for me to do. So I really needed it. But in previous years, I don't think I did enough for me to justify needing to write stuff down because I could just remember it.
Actually, yeah, because once again, high school had a very scheduled routine. And there wasn't really much that I did other than school. Sometimes I'd meet up, but because it was quite rare that I'd have meetups outside of school, I would just remember them. So I didn't need to really use a calendar. And last year I did use one, but obviously I didn't use it as much as this year because last year it was just pretty dry and dead. Yeah. But because we're in uni now and life is just a bit more interesting. Plus we're in societies and stuff. It just makes sense to use it. And it's good to just have that there because you don't want to miss any deadlines.
You know what annoys me?
Yeah?
Group work.
Oh, group work.
Yeah.
Group work, yeah.
It's just when I have to keep reminding people about deadlines that we set, it gets really tough. Like, it's like, if you...
It feels annoying after some time, right?
Yeah, like, having to constantly check up on people's progress. You see, I have 2 group projects this term. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did. And one of them, we only just made the group, and I think the project's being sent out sometime next week. But the other one is a major project for the course. It's worth 50%. And I just feel like my group, well, most of them are pretty organized except one person. And I just have to keep checking up on their work.
Well, for me, that was kind of what I had to go through in management in term 2 last year. And it wasn't that it did get annoying to have to check up on people, because we mentioned last episode that both of us feel like we're the leader in the group, but I just feel bad for them. It's like, I feel like they're just going to start getting annoyed at me if I just keep texting them, hey, are you doing this? But at the same time, I feel like it's definitely justified what you're doing. Because
it's like everyone needs to kind of pull their part.
You know, like, yeah, exactly. If one person starts slacking off, then the entire group's going to fall down with them. And it's just not fair.
I don't think I'll talk in detail about my group for this project, because just in case they're listening, but it's just, I just get tired of having to kind of lead and make sure that everyone's on track, because we have meetings and we set our deadlines for certain parts, other than that hard deadline for the section of the project. We set in intermediate deadlines that we need to meet in order to kind of keep up and be able to kind of finish in time.
Yeah.
And it's if you're not going to meet that deadline, you should let the group know so we know what we need to do about it, and how we're going to organize it so in such a way that everything will fit with people's schedule. If you're going to be working on some days and you can't do stuff on those days, or you have a much more packed schedule than another member of the group, you should let them know so everyone doesn't need to pull an even amount of weight, but can put the amount that they can in.
I think that's just manners and being nice. Letting your group know that you can't attend or you can't do something because you're busy, rather than them having to find out because you just don't show up or something. That's just rude.
Because recently I set a deadline. Okay, Tuesday is the day we need to have all of this part done so that our group in general can move on to the next part and finish it before our deadline, so we have time to kind of fix up any little bugs and clean up everything so it's nice and pretty for our hand in. But this person, today's Friday, and this section's still not finalized. And we had 2 whole weeks to do this section up to now then. Everyone else has finished their part. Everyone else is pulling what they got and doing it without any complaints. And this person that hasn't done it got the easiest part.
Has someone talked to them? It's kind of hard.
I'll tell you in our own private conversation about this, because I don't want to expose them.
Oh, okay. But I definitely think it's hard to talk to someone, especially someone who you're not really close with, and telling them that they're not doing enough.
If I'm okay with it if they told us And we just like decided, okay, who has the most time to get the most done and who has the least time and will help us in other ways. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's like I set all these things out. I outline everything for them. So like everyone knows what they're meant to do. And if you have questions, you ask us rather than tell us like days after we said to finish that part.
Do you think they just don't understand? Or like, did everyone agree on these plans too? Like, did they agree, yes, let's do it by Tuesday? Or were you just like...
I was like, okay, so we got this assignment basically day 1 of the term. And then they went through it and they said, okay, we had 3 weeks. It's due beginning of week 4. Technically, the actual work that we have to do wouldn't take that long, but they gave us more time for it because just to let us warm up to it, and in case people drop in between, so that they can make sure that every group is not disadvantaged by like people dropping out in any way. So it's like we did have plenty of time for this, and we set out our own timeline. We kind of agreed, okay, there's two big parts to this section. Let's do like this in this time, and we'll set another deadline for the other part and give us a bit of time so that we can also finalize everything.
So it's really just this one person then?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is why group works actually suck. And to be honest though, how is it that every single person agrees that group work sucks and that there's always that one person who just doesn't do anything?
I have a friend, I was talking about this to a friend, and they were like, I like group work because then I can just slack off.
Oh, so there's actually people who recognize that they purposely don't do anything.
Yeah, because the ones that complain about group work being bad are the ones that are being disadvantaged by the group work.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like they always say like, oh, like in the industry you're gonna work with other people. But I feel like it's a very different thing, like in terms of working in a group in uni and in the industry. I don't have personal experience, but I just feel like it's gonna be different because there's more of an incentive there to do well.
Yeah.
Because like, first of all, you get paid. And your actual performance will determine your pay as well, like in some sense, in terms of like promotions and everything like that. And I even heard this from one of my lecturers, like he said that in uni he didn't really see an incentive to put so much effort in, but like when he was working in the industry he started like really feeling, oh, I need to do this because other people are relying on me. I need to do this because I get paid for it. I need to do this because like there's a bigger picture to it than there is in university.
Yeah, that's definitely true though. So I guess it's good that you already have that head start and you're already thinking like that though. But about time management though, and I didn't get to say what I thought about time management for me. And I did mention it before. Sorry, did you have anything to say? Sorry. Because I completely changed the topic.
No, it's fine. That was all I had to say.
Okay. So back in the Q&A, my friend Gina asked about how I deal with time, like procrastination.
Yeah.
And I realized that I honestly don't procrastinate that much. I do, but in terms of essays and assignments too, I always set myself a deadline like 3 days before it's actually due. So, because I find that I stress a lot if I don't complete it before then.
I think we mentioned this one story once, like we were doing management, the course together, and you finished your entire essay and I didn't even look at the question yet.
But I'm pretty sure at that time it was pretty close to deadline, was it not?
It was like a few days.
Yeah, exactly. Few days.
It was like the weekend before the due date.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you still did better than me.
Nah, I think we got similar marks for that one.
Oh, okay. Anyway, like, procrastination isn't something that I really have to deal with a lot because I like starting early, which is good. But I also know that if they gave me a week to do something and the task I know only takes a day, I won't start at the start. I'll probably start like in the middle, but I won't start at the end. And it's quite hard for me to start a task as soon as they give it to us.
Yeah, it is. Like, I never do that.
I literally, throughout my entire high school life and uni, I think I've only done that once before. Like, starting it as soon as they gave it to us. And then I remember just being bored afterwards because when everyone else was doing it, I was like, I have nothing to do now. Which actually is a good thing, though. But either way, it's like, what's the point if I'm not getting the marks that I need? Where is it all gone?
But, like, I feel like my kind of mentality has screwed me over a couple times. Because, like, in computer science, when you code, there will be bugs. And you'll have to deal with those bugs. And the thing is, so there was this assignment, term 3 last year, and everyone was saying it was pretty easy. So I put it off for a very long time. And I was like, okay, we got 3 weeks to do this. It's due in 3 days. I guess I'll start it now because everyone says you can do it in a day.
Yeah.
I ended up taking 2 days to do it because I got so many bugs that I had to fix.
I think I remember this assignment. Was it kind of near your birthday time?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was fun. Definitely not stressful, having bugs and not being able to fix them. And it was like due in a day.
But you ended up doing well. Did you? Did you end up doing well?
I finished the assignment in the end.
Yeah. I had an essay due this morning, actually, at 9:30, and I submitted it last night. Well, technically this morning at like 2 a.m. But I finished it a while ago. I just didn't have time to submit it. And you know, like when after a long time of working on an assignment, you kind of just get bored of it and you just want to like give up and just submit it.
Oh, that's me.
Does that ever happen to you?
That's me. That's me every time. Like, I do work. I know it's bad, but I don't want to do it, so I just submit it.
That's literally me for this essay. And I think I proofread it like three times, which sounds like it's enough, but also there are definitely things that I know could be changed. And I just couldn't be bothered to change it.
Like, that was me. This week I had a tutorial homework due, and I BS'd it and submitted it without much research and just based off knowledge that I had from watching random educational YouTube videos about Amazon.
Don't you need to source what is it called? Cite your references though?
But I watched them like years ago. This is just information that I know now at this point. And basically I just worked off what I knew, and when I did turn it in, the only similarities I got were the references and the questions themselves, and that's when you know that you screwed up.
That's not true. Plus sometimes Turn It In does that though. They don't show you the actual percentage.
No, it did tell me, and like the only parts highlighted as similar were the questions.
No, I know, but
the references.
I've had assignments before that doesn't actually show you the similarity until you get your marks back. Like when you click on it, you can kind of see it's like red and whatever. Because I'm pretty sure this was what it was like for management in term 2, but you couldn't actually see it. Like they told you, oh, there's only like
no management. 2%. You could see it. Like I could see it on my thing as well, and I don't know. And we went to the tutorial and we were going, because every week we do a presentation, and it's usually based on the homework question. And basically I realized that I didn't go that in depth about it.
Was it marked? It was in the, like it weighs, right?
Yeah. It's only 5%.
Okay. Oh, not bad though.
It's fine. Like, I know I covered points. I have a very bad tendency to know a lot, but I dumb it down when I write it. I write it in the simplest form.
Is that not good?
But it's not a representation of what I know.
But it's good in terms of the marks, right? Because that's what they want.
It's good for, like, a teaching mindset, but not that good in terms of, like, having to throw stats at the teacher when you're doing homework. Because what I do is, like, I kind of analyze everything, all the information that I get, and then I manage to get the point across in a very, very short summary. And teachers don't like that. Because they're like, oh, where are your stats? Where did you get this? Where did you get this? Where did you get this? And I'm like, my brain.
I swear you can't just say that, though. You have to... Like, even though there are some things that seem obvious...
No, everything that I write are just... Like, I do source my things, but, like, it's just... I compile it all in my brain when I, like, read it. And the stuff that I put out is, like, completely different to what you can read directly on the page.
I genuinely don't think that's a bad thing.
I've been marked down for it. Because it's just, like, they're like, oh, it's not detailed enough.
I've read the essay of a really... Okay. I read essay of someone who got 0.96. I forgot.
What? 0.96?
ATA?
That doesn't make sense.
No.
Eight?
No. Yeah. Sorry. No. What am I saying?
0.6?
6. Maybe it was 6.5.
0.65? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The 9 came from the 99. My brain got that messed up. Anyway, and I was reading it, and I'm like, wow, this is so just straight to the point. It's not like a Englishy essay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
where, like,
I did that too.
People just throw in fancy words in.
But, like, I've had those, when those get read by some of my friends in other schools that, like, are way better at English, they think it's crap.
Your essays? But that's because the schools teach it differently, possibly.
But I'm like, what's the point of putting it in such a convoluted way when you could get the same point across in one sentence?
I like it fancy.
I don't like it fancy. Because if you're doing it fancy, aren't you just hiding the fact that you can't get the point across easily?
Yes. Exactly. Therefore, why I like the fanciness.
It's like sounding professional and actually being professional are two completely different things.
Girl, you should actually get my job, because the owner was like, oh, you explain your things in textbook way. Like, you're not talking in a normal person. And I'm like, this is how I talk. I literally... And he's like, no, say it as if you're talking to your friend. And he got mad at me for saying the word reduces scratches, whereas he wanted me to say the word scratches less. And I'm like, basically, they are the same thing.
You are making it fancy.
But that's literally how I talk, though.
Because I think I got used to this because I teach little kids. I kind of have to use analogies that they would understand.
I don't really teach younger kids, I guess.
So I dumb everything down so much. And I kind of use stories to teach them.
Yeah. I mean, I have a year 3 kid, and I use stories too. But I feel like... No, actually, you're right. I feel like when I talk to her, I have to kind of change my language up, because I can't use big words. You know, it's like if it's the word like reduction, I have to use it reduces or it goes down.
Yeah, like in a sense, I think, what is the point of having such an extensive vocabulary when other people don't understand you? My vocabulary has shrunk so much since high school finished.
What do you mean, what's the point of having it if other people don't understand you? You're not lowering your standards for them.
It's like, why would you make something so much harder when you could make it easier.
But it's not like so much harder anyway, right? It's not like you're talking in like really fancy words.
For some people, it is.
Oh, okay.
For some people.
To be honest, I don't know the meanings of... I think my vocab is just... It's like year 6 level at this point.
Dude, I teach year 6s and my vocab level isn't on the same level as theirs. Because, like, their work, they get, like, these big words and I'm always like, Google, define blah. Because I know words by using them in sentences, but I don't actually know the meaning of them. I just know that they work.
Oh no, same. Like sometimes I use random words that I know it works because other people use it, but I don't actually know the meaning of it.
It's not even just other people use it for me. It's just this instinctively is the meaning. Like, it instinctively works. Like, I just base everything on my instincts.
Wait, did you read a lot though as a child or when you were younger?
Up until like in primary school, I read a lot, and then like high school, I was like, bye reading. I hate reading.
Well, you actually hate it now?
Yeah, I don't read.
But do you hate it?
I read subtitles.
I mean, I read subtitles, but I like reading.
That's the only thing I read, other than textbooks as well, because we have to read textbooks.
Oh my god, that reminds me. My favorite book ever is called Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and there's going to be a sequel, and I am so excited for that because I've never been moved more by a book. I can't believe I've never told you about it, but it's so good. Like, the way it's written is good, not because of the plot itself, but because of it's poetry in a way, but it's a novel form. I don't know how to describe it.
I think we should be wrapping up because we've been recording for an hour now. And I love how we started this podcast saying, okay, 45-minute episodes, because, like, why would anyone listen to us talking for an entire hour? And, like, a majority of our episodes so far have been an hour long.
I wonder how many people actually listen to the full... from start to end, though.
I don't think we get those stats outside of YouTube, but I don't think anyone listens to our podcast properly on YouTube. Because we have it on, like, proper audio platforms.
I feel like I'd choose YouTube and Spotify as my top 2 podcast platforms. Not that I actually listen to podcasts that often, but if I were to, then it'd be YouTube or Spotify, though.
I'm thinking of ways to wrap up, and I think I'll just give a little anecdote. So, this is completely off topic, but I think I was going to say something about this, except I never managed to work it into the podcast, so I'll just say it now before we end the episode. I have a shopping issue.
That was so random.
It is.
Okay, so tune in next week if you want to know more about Kelly's shopping problem. Maybe we can think of ways to help her. And remember to
ways to help her.
Remember, if you have any opinions about her starting her YouTube, you should actually text her and let her know your thoughts.
Yes.
So thanks everyone for watching this week's episode. We hope you really liked it.
And remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Download our episodes across all platforms that it's available. Make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. None of you have done that yet, I think. Please do it.
I don't think anyone watches Google Podcast either. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, please do everything that I said. Follow us on Instagram. I want to feel loved.
2.friendless friends. Anyway, yes. Thank you so much.
Flora lied about not loving me.
I didn't lie about it, okay?
I would prefer if everyone didn't lie, like Flora did.
I did not lie.
On episode 6. So
how did you just know that?
Because I have good memory.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next week. Bye.